Hello and welcome to this session, which is all about internal dialogue and how our personal internal dialogue affects us in our moods and our actions. So we finished the last session talking a little bit about the psychosomatic effects of our thoughts and how it can lead to a somatic effect in our bodies, whether it's positive or negative. And that leads nicely on to this session because they're similar in many ways. But the internal dialogue is about what we're thinking about ourselves inside. So we're thinking all the time about what's going on in the outside world and trying to process all of that. But how are we internally treating ourselves? We might not say these things out loud, but if you drop something, do you berate yourself? Oh, that's really stupid. That's really clumsy. Or do you laugh? Or do you just pick it up and say, oh, well, never mind? Because each of those will have a different effect on your mood and how you feel about yourself. So firstly, I want to look at positive internal dialogue. I can. I will. I have. They're all positive. Very uplifting. I'm going to do something. I can't. I won't. And I haven't. Not so good. It's all about what you haven't done. Simple words, but very, very powerful. And we're going to look at some examples to highlight what our internal dialogue can do and how we can change it for the better. I'm selfish could equal I don't care about anyone else. Well, I doubt that's true. I should have done could mean I didn't do something and now I regret it because I expected myself to do it. So we need to learn from it, accept it, do something about it now if we can, and or do it differently next time if it arises. I'll feel guilty if I don't. Means I will push myself to do this thing in order to avoid guilt, even if it's not good for me or I don't want to do it. So what is the guilt about? Is it your feeling of what you think you should be doing, or is someone expecting something of you and trying to make you feel guilty? I'm rubbish at. This means exactly what it says. But we can't be good at everything, so we need to accept it. And don't berate yourself. We could call it a limitation. I'm not good enough as means we're comparing ourselves, probably. Good enough in whose eyes anyway? Just yours, someone else's? Is someone saying it to you, or are you just thinking it? If it's actually true, do something about it or accept it. Again, could be a limitation. I will fail equals no point trying as I'm a failure. So weigh it up. Is it worth trying or not? Don't set yourself up if you really think it's inevitable that you won't be able to do it. But if you don't know, why not try? There's as much risk in not trying something you want to try than there is in trying it. And what if you don't fail? How pleased would you be then? I need to be perfect could mean if I am not perfect, I am not getting my need met. I'm letting myself and others down. Well, there's no such thing as perfection. So let yourself and others off and be your best version of you that you can be within your limitations. Next, I'd like to show you an example of what we might think and how that could lead to an emotion and feeling, and then on to making us behave or act in a certain way. So let's have a look at I will fail at the course I want to take at college. That is the thought. So our initial thought is I will fail. This could lead us to feel heavy on our chest. Our behaviour might be to stop researching the course. Then our thought might be, that's a shame, I wanted to do that. Which could lead us to feel a sad emotion. We might then act out that sadness in anger or resentment. Then we may think that we are mean and selfish, or that someone else is because they don't understand us. But we've been in the way of them understanding because we haven't understood ourselves. And if we do not understand ourselves, how can we expect anyone else to? Our communication won't be there. It won't be clear. So when we did the session on Who Am I? Did you come to any conclusions about yourself within that? Do you like yourself? Do you accept yourself? What do you think about yourself? Because that is going to be connected to your internal dialogue. Pause the video and have a little think about your internal dialogue. Are you using positive words or negative words towards yourself on a daily basis? And we'll move on to the next example. Later on in the programme, we're going to look at positive psychology and how using positive psychology can help to stamp out a lot of the negative thinking. But for now, do you have anyone that you trust really, really well? Do you trust yourself to start with? We can be our own worst enemy. It's completely true. You must have heard the saying before. We can be the biggest bully to ourselves out of everybody we know. Or we can be kind to ourselves. So where do you sit within that? Are you good to yourself? We need to be friends with ourselves. And talking of friends, if you do have anyone that you completely trust well enough, you could do an exercise together where you write down everything you like about each other. And then you can have a look at what they've said about you and take that on board. See what you think of how you're viewed from the outside by someone you care about and someone that you trust. This will also highlight anything that you cannot quite accept. Finally, I'd like to leave you with a diagram. It just shows how a thought can lead to a feeling or emotion, and how the feelings and emotions can lead us to have a certain behaviour or action, and then how the behaviour and action can lead to another thought. And we can go round and round this cycle, and if it's negative, it can really spiral out of control and we can get anxious. But if we at any point can look at what were the thoughts, what were the feelings, and what are the behaviours, and try to change one of those things while it's happening, we can stop it in its tracks. So I'll see you for the next session.